Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Austin here, bringing you guys a PvZ match. This is going to be between Liquid TLO, our blue Zerg spawning at the bottom right of Ohana, and PvZ MaNa, the red Protoss spawning at the top left. You might be wondering, Austin, you brought us a PvZ just a couple of games ago. What is going on? Well, I was looking through Ghost of Gamers IEM Katowice. That's how I pronounce it. I've listened to the Good Show on Twitch earlier today, and they had all sorts of strange Polish pronunciations of it, so I'm only going to say that city name once. Feel free to correct me and give me the exact breakdown of it, because that would actually be extremely helpful. From that IEM tournament that took place over 4 days last week, this was one of the first replays uploaded. It was a full series from the, I think it's the round of 32, between, I don't know exactly, I just need to first learn how to speak for a second here, and then I will tell you, it's not the round of 32, but it's the first round of the championship bracket, which means that these players that are playing in it were third or fourth or something along those lines in their group, so they just barely eked out of the group stages to advance here, while the players that were first in their group got a bye until a certain round, and then the players that were a certain position in their group got favorable seeding. So I do know that much about the IEM format. I'm not sure exactly how many players were left in this tournament. I know IEM has like a round of 12 at one point, just because of how the drop-down, well, not drop-downs, but how the first seeds enter. Picture like the NFL divisional playoffs, where there's pretty much the same number of teams as in the wild card, because then the teams that advance from the wild card just face a fresh batch of teams that are in the divisional. I don't even know if I got that right. I used to follow NFL football really closely. My interest dropped down the past couple of years. I got busier, but in recent weeks I've been tuning in more and more. I've been playing Madden 13, so my passion for it has been reignited, but my passion for StarCraft 2 has always been here, and I do indeed enjoy watching Force fast expands here on Ohana, though there are these rocks leading from the third to the natural that can be quite dangerous for a Protoss player. If you don't put a pylon there for your vision, you can be burned for it. TLO is getting pylon blocked at his natural. MaNa going to cancel that at the last minute, so TLO going to go, as most Zergs do, straight to his third base to make a hatch there. Did MaNa see it? Yes, so he knows that TLO is going to be going for a very fast three bases up in MaNa's base. TLO is a very, very intelligent player, I would say. Look at the APM. His APM is not insanely high. It's 115 right now. I mean, we're not in the heat of the game, right? MaNa's at 321, but the question is how many of those actions are truly effective. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but I'm saying TLO is he's a smart player. He uses strategies to his absolute advantage, and he outwits players sometimes, goes for cool base trades, uses Nidus worms, and he's just a strong player in general with regard to how he makes decisions in this game. If you guys watched my amateur commentaries, I do really, really commend you if you've been subscribed to me for that long. Thank you for your dedication. You would know there's a player there named Zapper that won a lot of games on my channel, and he kind of reminds me of TLO in the regard that, you know, he's not a GM or anything, not a world-class player, but he uses strategies very effectively. Some players are just amazing multitaskers, and they will have this 230 legitimate APM where everything is going to use, and it's not just clicking around or selecting workers or doing something crazy. I don't know what EPM is. It's Shift C, okay. So EPM, you see, MaNa's is a lot lower. That's effective actions per minute or something like that. Effective commands per minute or whatever, so that just gives you a little bit of a demonstration. So there are some players that have a very, very fast multitasking speed. They just are on the map everywhere at every point in the game. I mean, I would say any pro player is pretty much that to varying degrees. But people like TLO or White Raw will have the slightly lower APM, but they'll make it count. They won't necessarily waste a bunch of force fields just, you know, to have spam the F key. They might not. I'm not saying TLO is a Protoss, but I'm just giving you a Protoss example because I'm a Protoss player myself. So pretty much what I'm saying here and what I've been saying for this whole little rant is that APM doesn't mean everything. It really comes down to whether or not you win the game. That's truly it. I believe that StarCraft 2 is definitely comparable to chess. I'm not a huge chess player, but I do know the game generally well. And it's one-on-one. It's very competitive, and there's a lot of strategic depth to it. So you could have a player that doesn't maybe this isn't the best comparison, but he doesn't move his pieces very fast. He uses all of his allotted time to make his move, but he's already thinking like 6 or 7 moves ahead, and he knows exactly what he's going to do. I'm trying to make comparisons. I'm trying to give you guys a nice little picture painted in your head. But MaNa's painting a very clear picture here. He's getting a Robo Facility and a Twilight Council. In my mind right now, all I can think of is a Blink Observer play here from MaNa. Very interesting to see. He's getting +1 also, so he'll have a very nice timing to go with this, unless TLO is able to apply some pressure from these destructible rocks. This is actually aggravating me how long he's been attacking this. This is a real team effort. All the queens joining in, all the wings joining in. It's gonna take him. It's taken him so long to deal 2,000 damage. So if MaNa hit TLO hard right now, he might not be able to cope with it because of the low DPS of his units at the moment. TLO is droning like a madman. He is currently at 43 harvesters to his opponent's 43, but that will shortly change after he gets 8 more drones at one time. Look at that. It just jumps by 4 right away. He's building so many, going straight up to lair. This is insanely greedy. He has a Roach Warren, and his army value is at a grand 12. Nice. MaNa's is at 9. So both of these players are like probably before the game, before they get in the booths. Man, this is the final game of our series. I forgot to mention best of 5, tied 2-2 entering this game. So why don't we just sit back and play extremely greedy? Sound good? All right. Have a good game. That's pretty much what I figured happened before this match. MaNa's getting his +2, so TLO is going to need to make those lair units fast. He's going to need to get his infestors right on time, or else he'll be punished with Blink Observer. There's also going to be Immortals mixed in here, so I'm not sure exactly where MaNa's going to go with this. He hasn't started to research Blink, so I've really been set on the mentality that that is where MaNa will be going, but he does not have an Observer right now. He has an Observer. I think he's been moving it around the map, though. He's moving it towards his opponent's base. So I think he's going for a Sentry Immortal timing with Stalkers with Blink mixed in. That always helps. It always helps to have Stalkers with Blink, because they just... Once you engage in a bad position, and you somewhat force field your opponent off, Blink will help save your Stalkers. You might lose an Immortal, you might lose a couple Sentries, but your Stalkers, which are going to be the DPS backbone of your army, apart from your Immortals. The Immortals are just like these. They're the DPS all-stars, let's say. But the Stalkers provide a good support in terms of damage, and so we cannot completely disregard their usability in such battles, and the fact that they need to be kept alive, and Blink really helps if a player is able to control the units effectively. MaNa getting a 3rd base now, and TLO, the genius he is going to go for Vengeful Sacks. That is the Overlord drop upgrade, and that could be a crazy base trade situation, because he can just drop roaches in his opponent's main base while MaNa makes his push out, and then MaNa will be caught with his pants down. I mean, as much as I don't like to make such analogies, it's so true. He won't know what to do next. He'll be completely at a crossroads. Do I pull back and try to save what's left of my infrastructure because TLO has already ravaged it, or do I try to move all the way back to... move all the way across the map to kill my opponent? There's the Forge getting destroyed there. I don't know if the 2 weapons finished. Yes, it did. MaNa almost got some nice force fields there, and I probably would have dropped my whole little rant topic. Not necessarily rant, but I'm quite tired, so... Pardon me. I would have dropped that, but force fields a little bit off there from MaNa. So TLO gonna get Banelings. So instead of saying Roach drops in the main, he could be going for Baneling overhead bombs. He's just going to be raining Banelings down on his opponent, which could be quite devastating in itself. Blink not done yet here for MaNa, but this Stalker not going to take too much damage. He's still got his shields left. A Forge has been rebuilt somewhere, so 3 weapons will be commenced. We've seen Creator go for some sort of a crazy upgrade timing. If you want upgrades from a Protoss player, just watch some Creator Prime. And it seems as though MaNa is somewhat mimicking him. He's getting that Robo Bay on the back of this, so he has to weigh that essential tech structure for the Blink timing. But he's been a bit thrown off by TLO poking, and now he will try to defend this 4th base location over here. TLO also building a 5th, so he's playing so greedily, but I think it's going to pay off for him. He's up to 75 Harvesters, very nice number for 3 bases, and he's going to be shortly transferring some workers from his main, I think, or maybe even droning up a little bit more. And TLO is looking very good at this point. I would have to say MaNa just... He's done what he can, but has just not kept the heat on. He moved in with his Warp Prism, did a little bit of damage, but now, in his face, well, going to be in his face rather shortly, will be 33 Banelings. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen it here, with centrifugal hooks in a matter of 70 seconds. I don't even know what to say at this point. They are all entering Overlords, and it doesn't even matter that there's a Warp Prism dealing damage here, because that's going to get shut down by Roaches. And there's going to be a Queen over here, and TLO can probably just transfer some units over. But the point being, the Overlord apocalypse is coming. Let's just follow it. Let's just forget about everything. Okay, let's forget about extended thermal lance, about charge, about a Colossus, and let's just follow this. And just, you can open another window and play O Fortuna from Carmina Burana at the same time as this. It's that really epic song with the loud voices and choir chanting as we watch. Just, words cannot describe what we are going to see here. We'll shift over to the front of the fleet and let us just watch the sentries get ravaged. Mana crumbling under this baneling pressure. Roaches are everywhere, and TLO's genius is eternal. He just crushes right into this Immortal. There's no DPS here for Mana. He's got this one Colossus, so vulnerable. Blink doesn't even matter. TLO has closed in here, and he has so many resources banked. So if he loses this force, it doesn't even matter, ladies and gentlemen. Our Zerg player is back up to 189 supply, and the Protoss down to 76. He's getting a Templar Archives, but what does that matter? There's going to be Lings in here trying to clean things up. Another Colossus still alive. He's got 8 kills, 9 kills. He's doing a good job trying to prevent the apocalypse. But those Banelings rain down, and they rain down gloriously. There are even still 2 Roaches in one of these Overlords. I was going to say 2 Banelings, but thankfully I didn't, because I would have looked rather dumb. There's going to be a Spire here from TLO, so it doesn't even matter at this point. He can get Corruptors when he wants them, and then just destroy Colossi with ease, even if he's repelled here. So, as much as Mana played a passive macro game, TLO came in here with his strategic brilliance, as I was talking about for so long, and now he's going to dance his Roaches around quite arrogantly so, but deservedly so, because he's earned this victory. This Colossus is not going to fall quite yet. It will be able to DPS down even more Roaches. My mouse just directing me to somewhere else, because it does not. It's a Protoss fan and does not want to see Colossi die. The Roach is going to be held off for now. Todd has left the game, and Mana calls the GG. TLO calls the GG. I don't know if Todd leaving has anything to do with it, but we're going to wait for all of our observers to slowly leave this match as we watch the Roaches ravage the natural Mana. Guys, that was a great game, I have to say. A little bit one-sided, but just fun to watch, as TLO is always proclaimed to be. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I will see you next time.